Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This video is on proportions. I love proportions. This is actually my favorite time of the year. We're going to use proportions to solve so many different things. They're completely awesome. Okay? Your objective for this video is, as a student, you should be able to calculate the missing value of a proportion. And you actually did this in the last video, and you're going to use these for all sorts of things such as conversions, finding tax, tips, discounts, coupons. You're going to use it for everything. You're going to find it helpful when you're filling out charts and tables and graphs. It's pretty awesome. Proportions are the most important thing that we do for the end of the year. So we're going to get started. Okay? Proportions, first of all, you need graphic organizer number 1, side 2. You're going to use this entire side. All right? What is a proportion? Well, a proportion is very simple. It's an equation that shows two equivalent ratios. Wait. Our last video was on equivalent ratios, wasn't it? Yes, it was, and you actually used a proportion to solve the word problem. I'm going to show you how it's done. Okay? So, what is a proportion? Well, it's just a statement that says two ratios are equal or equivalent. For example, you would use a proportion in this type of situation. In an election, Damon got 3 votes for every 2 votes that Shannon got. Damon got 72 votes. How many votes did Shannon get? You will actually use, to solve this question, you'll actually use a proportion. You'll set one up, and you'll figure it out. It's pretty easy. So, what does it mean to be proportion, or proportional? In this particular case, we're going to talk about proportionality, which just means, are they equivalent? Okay? And remember, a proportion is supposed to be equivalent. So we're going to check. Okay? In this particular case, there are 2 ways to solve proportions. I'm going to use the traditional method, which is the first way. Okay? How does 3 become 6? Well, you multiply by 2. And if I did it to the bottom as well, 5 times 2, does 5 times 2 equal 10? Yes, it does, which means those are proportional. Okay, you also see those crosses. That's really important too, because what we're going to say is 3 times 10 equals 6 times 5. And we could check that out. 3 times 10 is 30, and 6 times 5 is 30. Does 30 equal 30? Yes, it does. Okay, we're going to talk about that more in just a second if that is a little bit confusing. Okay, here we go. Proportions. Determine if the following are proportions. So we're going to see, are these equivalent? That's all we're asking. Okay, how does 5 become 60? Well, I multiply by 12. If I do the same thing to the bottom, is 3 times 12 36? Yes, it is. This is proportional, so the answer is yes for this one. Let's check this one. How does 8 become 4? Well, actually, you have to divide by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 15 divided by 2. It's not 8. So this one is not proportional. Okay? That's how we check. Are they equivalent? Moving on. Now, I told you there was 2 ways to solve proportions and 2 ways to use them. And I'm going to be honest, you're going to use both ways depending on which is easier and which is harder. Okay? That being said, the first method says, step 1, determine how the 2 values across from each other have changed. Okay? Now, I wouldn't really say across from. I would like to use the words next to. So how does 7 become 42? Well, pretty easy. 7 becomes 42 by multiplying by 6. The second thing you would do is go, okay, we're the one that's unknown, which is the x in this case, do the same thing. 12 times 6. So if you do it to the top, you got to do it to the bottom. It sounds kind of like fractions, doesn't it? Because it is, you'd be finding equivalent fractions, like a common denominator. Hey, look at that. So 12 times 6 is 72, and actually x equals 72. That's the right answer. Now, I'm going to show you the other way. Now, this way we're going to use quite a bit too, especially if things aren't easy or come out nicely. Okay? You can actually do something called cross multiply, which means you have to find the 2 numbers that are across from each other, and across means diagonal. In this particular case, 12 and 2 are across from each other. We don't want to use 4 and x because x is the unknown, so we can't multiply those together. 12 times 2 is 24, and then what we would do is we would divide by the third number that we don't have, which is 4. So 24 divided by 4, and what does that give us? Well, that gives us 6. And our answer is 6. Now, wait a minute, we could use the traditional method to double check that. So let's see about that. Okay? How does 4 become 2? Well, we divided by 2. And 12 divided by 2 equals, wait a minute, 6. Isn't that the same answer we got? Yes, it is. It's cool how math works sometimes. Moving on. I'm going to show you 6 examples. These are all examples that you need to put on your graphic organizer. We're going to go ahead and get started. I gotta move chairs because I'm squeaking. Here we go. Okay, so first one. We can either use cross multiply or we can use the traditional method. So if we use the traditional method, we have to be careful. I'm going to show you real careful. Okay, we cannot tell how n becomes 3. So I want to go from 4 to what I know. How does 4 become 8? Well, multiply by 2. I'd have to go the same direction if I'm going to use the traditional method. Notice my arrow went from the 4 to the 8, so my arrow needs to go from the 3 to the end. That would be times 2, and n equals 6. Now, I could also use the cross multiply method, which I'm going to show right now. Okay, in number 2, we've got 6 and 3 are across from each other. That gives us 18, and 18 divided by the third number, which is 1, that's just simply 18 divided by 1 is 18. So n equals 18. Moving on, next one. Okay, this time, I'm actually going to use the traditional method again. It doesn't matter, either one. But I think the traditional method is a little bit easier this time. Now, I do not know what n is. So I don't want to go from 5 to 25 because that makes it weird. I don't know what n is. I can't do that. So what I am going to do is I'm going to go from 25 to 5. How do I get from 25 to 5? Well, I divide by 5. And how does go the same way, same direction? Divide by 5. You notice I draw those arrows. Anytime I do the traditional method, I draw the arrows. 40 divided by 5? Well, n equals 8. There we go. Alright, this time I'm definitely going to use the traditional method because I don't want to do 7 times 21 and then be expected to divide it by 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, alright, I want to go this way. I want to go from 7 to n. So 3 to 21. How do I get that? Well, multiply by 7. Do the same thing to the top. 7 times 7, n equals 49. Very easy. Alright, last one. Okay. Ooh, decimals. I don't want to have to do multiplying and dividing decimals, so not with the whole traditional method. So I'm going to cross multiply and divide. So cross multiply, 8 times 2.5. Whew, that's actually 20. I'm not going to lie, that's 20. If you had to do it to the side, you totally could, but I can do that one in my head. That is 20. And then I need to divide by the third number, which is 4. 20 divided by 4 equals 5. Okay, and n equals 5. Congratulations. All right, next one. Ooh. Decimals again? Ugh. I would rather cross multiply. 4 times 3.3. Well, that actually is 13.2. Ugh. Yuck. Right? 13.2, and I need to divide it by 12. Ooh, do I want to do that? Maybe not. I think the traditional method might be easier on this one, so let's go back. Let's try this again. I wanted to go from 3.3 to n. So I also want to go from 12 to 4. How does 12 become 4? Well, divide by 3. I need to do the same thing at the top. 3.3 divided by 3 gives us 1.1. Now, that's all nice and dandy, n equals 1.1, but here's the deal. Okay? Sometimes the traditional method's going to work, and sometimes the cross multiply and divide method is going to work easier. It really depends. Okay? For example, in the first one, I would have simply done 8 times 3 divided by 4. It would have been easier. Alright, so those are both your methods. You can do any of them on this next piece. You need to do some independent practice. You can do those right now. Okay, I want you to write them on your graphic organizer. When you're done with it, I want you to resume the video and check them. So go ahead, pause. Pause it now. Yes, pause it now. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to go ahead and show you and see if you got the right answers. I would have cross multiplied 14 times 1. Divided it by 2, that would have given me a equals 7. Second one, I would have cross multiplied 5 times 9. That would have given me 45. Divided by 3, b equals 15. That is one where you definitely don't want to use the traditional method. How does 5 become 3? You don't know. That's why you use the cross multiply method. Right, next one. Same with 9 to 15. How does 9 become 15? You don't know. So we're going to cross multiply. 9 times 10 is 90. And we're going to divide by 15. And it actually gives us 6. Hopefully you figured that one out. Next one. Woo. 3 times 6, that's 18. Divided by 1, the answer is 18. A equals 18. Whew. Next one. We're getting close to the end. 6 times 5, cross multiply. Divide by 3. 30 divided by 3, z equals 10. Congratulations. And this one. I'm going to actually use the traditional method this time, but remember I want to go from 21 to e. So 35 to 5, divide by 7. 21 divided by 7 Yeah, that gives me 3. So E equals 3. Ladies and gentlemen, those are your 6. That's it. All right. Here's your extra ticket. Do these 3. When you got it done, show it to Mr. Williams. He's going to double check it. Then you got a worksheet, and it's a 2-sided worksheet because these are super important. Good luck. We're out.